Good morning, all. So let's start the module 5, the screen-based control. So in the today class, we are going to understand the different controls on screen. So the first and foremost thing is the what are the components of the screen which will control the screen. One is the button, option button, checkbox. All these things has been used for controlling the screens. Okay, so in daily user interface design, when you are interacting with the website or any other application software, so the many controls you come across. For example, submit button, and also click on OK button, and also the gender, whether the male or female gender inputs while you are entering the application, or while you are selecting the, or while you are doing online booking like Flipkart, Amazon, you are booking a laptop. So that time you are going to select which type of configuration you want. So what is the RAM size, what is the the motherboard size, all these things comes in a checkbox format. So all these controls are used in any user interface design. Okay, so with respect to this slide, the screen-based control, often simply called controls and sometimes called widgets. It is also a widget. These are the graphic component which we can see on the screen and can interact with them. So whichever the control that you are interacting, so that can be control, considered as a control, controlling for a screens. Okay, so this is with respect to the first slide. Come to the second slide. What are the screen-based control can do? So the first one is selection of particular value, editing of particular value, display a particular piece of text, value, or any particular thing. Next, cause an action to be performed. So to be performed. So these are all the screen-based control can do. It can for any data it requires. So it can ask user for collecting the data, editing the any particular value. All these things comes under the the screen-based control. And what are the types of screen-based control? The first one is button. Second, test entry read-only control. Third one, selection control. Fourth one, combination entry or selection control. The fifth one, custom control. Sixth one, presentation control. And the seventh one is the web control. Okay. So these are the different types of control that we come across in a daily user interface. You being a user designer or developer, you have to understand what are the types of the controls are there. So where, on what condition, on what circumstances, which control to be used, that you have to understand thoroughly. Okay, so this is called the control types. Next, come to the button. Let us discuss one by one. So what is button, what is the text entry, what is selection control, all these things we will discuss one by one. Next, come to the buttons. So how, because you have seen already submit button, how the submit button looks like, how the OK button looks like. It's either a square or rectangular shaped control with a label inside. So it will be mentioned what that button is for. With a suitable caption or the name, it is going to be any particular button going to be displayed. Okay, so that is the first thing. Next, the label may consist of text, graphics, or both. Okay, so the label may contain text or graphical, pictorial representation, or both. And the purpose of button are to start the action, to change the properties. So any action. Okay, so for example, once you click on submit button, it is going to save at the back end. So that means you are starting a save option or submit option, which makes the backend data enter with the new record. So that is what the meaning with respect to the purpose of the buttons. Next, come to the advantages of the button. It is always visible, reminding one of the choices are available, can be logically organized in the work area. So it can be logically put it in any work area. For example, need not be in the bottom of the application form submit button. You can place in the left left bottom corner or in the top also sometimes. So it is a logically you can organize in any of the work area. What are the drawbacks of buttons? Are size limits the number that may be displayed. So it limits the number that may be displayed. For example, you cannot put more than 3 submit button, or the size of the button. It restricts how it should be displayed. Next, the second drawback is requires looking away from main working area to activate. So whatever the main working area is there, that area, it needs the special position apart from the working area. That is what the meaning drawback of the buttons. So come to the buttons. We understood what is the button, what are the purpose of the button, and also the advantages and disadvantages of the button. Okay, next come to the text entry. For example, so look at this screen. Here you have an option, enter the new text or enter the name, enter the institution name. Some kind of inputs that particular dialog button will receive. So that is going to be saved in the backend form. Okay. The what it means is a control is usually rectangle in shape in which text can be entered or may be displayed for read-only purpose. So this is how it looks. So you have come across in a daily life how the text, the text box will appear, and what is the purpose of text box when you are dealing with a different user interface. Okay, so this is the one example for text entry, and it is a read only. So whatever you type, that will be displayed sometime. So you cannot modify. You look at the second screen here, you cannot modify anything. Next, come to the advantages. What are the advantages of the text box is it's very flexible, consumes little screen space. It consumes only a small space of the screen. Next, what are the drawbacks? It requires use of typewriter keyboard. So it required either a QWERTY keyboard, layout keyboard, and also so, there is no like voice to text command inside the text box. Means you will pronounce something, you will and it will appear on the screen like that. Google Assistant is happened these days. Google Assistant, how it works, whatever we pronounce, that will be converted into the text, and based on that text the searching will happen. So but in the text box, such features are there. It is only a text data, and it requires user to remember what must be keyed. So what are the things to be typed? Okay, so that has to be user must remember. For example, if he is typing some university name, okay, so the name characters, spellings, everything should be remembered for the user. That's what the drawback is. Next, selection control. This is the third type of control. To select particular value. So here there are two bar types. One is the radio button, or the another one is checkbox. Because in daily life, you've seen, so because while you are entering any mobile, while you are purchasing online shopping and all, so this radio buttons, checkbox are the common two controls that are exist to understand your inputs. So look at this here, the radio buttons has been mentioned. So the fundamental difference between the radio buttons and checkbox is, so in a radio buttons, any one in particular groups you can select, whereas checkbox, it will help you to select multiple options. For example, when you are dealing with the gender kind of thing, okay, either you can select male or female. So that time you can use radio button. But when you are booking a online laptop, so sometime you may go for 8 GB, and also you may looking at the both 8 GB RAM as well as 16 GB RAM. So that time we can select both the text box 8 GB as well as 16 GB. So the both the configuration and a combination laptop list will be displayed on the screen. That is what the fundamental difference between the checkbox and the radio button. So look at here the radio box. These are all used for selecting a single element from group. List of elements or items. Okay, so only any one item you can select at a time. When the user selects the radio button, any button previously selected gets deselected automatically. Correct. So when it is in the small group, so when you select female, the male radio button is automatically disabled. So the female button will activate. So again, similarly, if you choose any other alternative radio button, the corresponding button is going to be start. That is how the things happen. Next, when the user selects the radio button, any button previously selected gets deselected automatically. So that is what we understood. Next, a two-part control consisting of the following. One is small circles. There will be a small circle, a diamond, rectangle. Okay, two-part control consisting of the following: small circle, diamonds, or rectangles. Choice description will be there. When a choice is selected, the option is highlighted. When you select any of the choice, the particular option will get highlighted. This is what the meaning of radio box. Next, come to the advantages. So what are the advantages? Easy to access choices, easy to compare the choices. So you no need to deselect. Whereas in a checkbox, when you are selecting a 16 GB RAM, when you are looking only particularly 16 GB RAM, you have to deselect the other options. But here in the radio button, automatically deselection will be done. So next, come to the drawback, disadvantages. It consumes the screen space and limited number of choices. So yeah, because when you are giving a multiple options, so it consumes the more screen space and it provides a limited number of choices. So you can use this particular button only when there are 3 to 4 or less than 3 options. That time the radio box will be suitable. Okay, for example, if you want to go for selecting uh, a particular state for job opportunity, maybe you have 10 you may interested in 10 different states to work while you are filling the online application for job. So all 10 states if you are displayed on the screen, okay, so that time it consumes the more screen space, though it selects only one state. Okay, so it consumes the more screen space and it is limited number of choice. You can't display all the 10 because of the screen size. That is one of the drawback with respect to the radio button. Come to the checkbox. When you come to the checkbox is used to select many choices at a time, and sometimes default has been checked. A two-part control consisting of square and choice description will be there. For example, when you are not selecting any, while you are booking a online, laptop, so by default it will select to the 4 GB, whichever is the standard it is. If you want to go for a higher version, you can select, you can visit manually and you can select the higher version. But by default, checkbox will be selected for the, the standard one. Each option acts as a switch that can be either on or off. So every switch box is acting like a on and off flag, on or off flag. Okay. When you select any checkbox, the automatically the flag of that checkbox will get on. When you deselect, the flag of that particular checkbox will get off. So this on and off value will be used during the development of any software. This on and off, tag will be used for performing the action. If the 4 GB RAM is on, okay, so that based on that, the selection query will execute in the backend. This is how the coding they do. They use this flag value, on or off flag value, to work with the checkbox. Next, come to the when an option is selected, a mark such as X or check appears within the square box or the box is highlighted in some other manner. So this is all about the check boxes. Next, come to the if square box is unselected or empty, each box can be switched on or off independently, used alone or grouped in sets. So that's what it can be either on or off, depends on the situation. Next, what are the advantages of checkbox? It is easy to access choices, easy to compare choices. So comparison and accession is will be easier. That is why they use the checkbox when you are booking a online laptop or mobile, okay, or any of that matter. The drawbacks: it's a limited number of choices will be there. Single checkboxes difficult to align with other screen control. For example, if any single checkboxes are there, it is difficult to get aligned. So next, combination text entry or selection control. This is a kind of combo button. So you might have seen the combo button or list. Okay. So this makes the text entry and selection control. A control can have characteristics of both text field and selection field. So this combo button or list box will be having both the feature of text field as well as the selection field. Here are the some of the typed or selected placed on this. This is the example screenshot is being put. Okay, so when you are selecting your nationality, India, you can type. Once you type the India, so first three letter IND, the corresponding related country name will be appeared automatically, and that can be selected. So this is the advantages of this combo button or selection entry. This automatically fetch the relevant. Next, come to the types. What are the types? So spin boxes, attached combination boxes, drop down, pop-up combinations, boxes, and all those things. So here, these are all the varieties. So when you click on the the arrow mark, down arrow mark, then that combo box will appear, or the selection box is appeared is one category. Another one is just typing first two letter, automatically the relevant list will be fetched. And the third one is the spin box. It's a spin box kind of thing. So these are the types, okay, of the particular combo button or the selection combination of selection. Next, come to the this is the same spin box. This is the example. Yeah, spin box. One type of the example is appeared on the screen where you can select the feet. How many feet are there in attitude? So it may be depends. So as you clicked the up arrow button, the particular value will get increased. For example, that can be mentioned in your even in your age sometime. So what is your age? So if you mention any value, that can be automatically increased or it can be decreased by just pressing the up or down arrow. This is the best example for the spin boxes. Next, what is the advantages and disadvantage? It consumes little screen space. It's flexible, permitting selection or typed entry, useful for small set of values. These are the advantages. Come to the disadvantages. Sometimes it's difficult to operate, useful only for certain kinds of the data, difficult to compare the choices. So it is very difficult to when it is comparing with the different choices. So this is all about the combination entry selection or selection control. Okay, so today class we discussed about the variety of the screen based control since from the beginning. So what are the buttons we understood, text entry or read only control we understood, and we understood the the radio button and check boxes. Okay, and we also go through the combination of text entry and selection control. These are all the today class summary. Any doubts? Any doubts? You can feel free to ask.
No, sir.
Okay, so then we'll see the remaining part in the next class. So can be